Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Black Knights Weekly. I'm Nick DeSanctis, bringing you along for a closer look inside Army athletics. Today we'll hear from Army's volleyball team, chat with the men's soccer goalie, and head back to the classroom for night school. First on today's slate, we're going to meet Army's new women's soccer coach, Marcia McDermott. With a very impressive resume, McDermott comes to West Point after most recently serving as an assistant coach on the U.S. women's national team. Night Vision sits down with her in today's Army One-on-One. Nick DeSanctis, joined by Army women's soccer coach Marcia McDermott. Marcia, thanks for taking the time to join us this morning. You come here to West Point from an assistant coaching spot with the U.S. women's national team. What has the adjustment been like going from that big stage to here at West Point?
Well, first of all, it's a privilege to coach at West Point. I mean, this is a remarkable institution, and I feel really lucky and grateful to have a role here and to be able to coach this team. So it's just a very different environment to go to the college coaching game. It's about teaching. It's about being an educator. Of course, it's still about competing, and it's about the excitement and fun of the college soccer game, which is its own great atmosphere.
Now, you've had the chance to coach on the international, professional, and collegiate levels. Each kind of brings about its own challenge. What do you think are the biggest challenges you face at a collegiate level?
You know, at each level has things that make it really fun to coach at that level, and each level has its challenges. And I don't typically focus on the challenges. I'd have a tendency more to focus on why I want to be at a certain level or a certain place. And I knew I wanted to return to college coaching because I really enjoy being a part of the teaching process. I love being a part of an athlete's education and development as a player and as a person. And I love building a program. I think that's really fun. Here at West Point, they have a tradition most recently that's been very successful. So we have something really great to build on as we develop our own culture and create something special.
Now, this team at West Point, just 2 years removed from a Patriot League title and an NCAA tournament berth. What do you think it's going to take to get the team back to that level and beyond? Well,
the good news is we have a lot of players on this roster that were a part of that team, some very good players like Joey Malachek and Molly McGigan and Kim Ahn. And these players all have had experience playing in that competitive environment and being successful. So that's really good news. But we have to, in order to successfully do that again and to do it consistently from year in and year out, we have to create a culture that's focused on standards. We have to really compete every day in training. We have to get an environment in which people are working to get better on their own, not just when we're together. So there's a lot of different aspects that we have to do, but we have all the pieces in place. We have a talented young group. We have a great institution here, a great school that we get to sell to recruits, and really we have a lot of opportunity here to build a very successful long-term program.
Now, at UNC, you played under one of the best coaches to coach any sport in the NCAA, and Anson Dorrance. What have you taken away from him as a player and then now as a coach?
Well, I mean, Anson is a fantastic coach, and that was a great environment to be in. And, you know, when you talk about UNC, he's a significant part of it. And one thing that I really appreciate about him is that, you know, the place was really built upon standards. It was really built upon choice. You choose every day to come. You choose to compete. We were very competitive in training. Sometimes training was harder than the game on the weekend. And we really enjoyed that experience when it was all said and done. There were times, though, that was very hard. We worked really hard. So all of those are very valuable lessons, and I always remain very proud that I played at Carolina.
Now, your team 1-1 this season. The big win Friday night came up just short in a comeback attempt on Sunday. What are your feelings on this team as you move into this next coming weekend?
This team has a lot of potential. I mean, we've got a lot of good players on our roster. We've got senior leadership that's very experienced and has some experience of success. We've got young kids that are in our freshman and sophomore class that are making significant contributions right now. So we've got a lot of ingredients to, if we can bring it together, for this team to have a very successful year. But it will require of us consistency, not just over the week of training, but also within the 90 minutes. It'll require of us the ability to come together, focus, and achieve our performance goals.
McDermott's squad has a 1-1 mark through 2 games this season. They take on Seton Hall on the road tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Up next, we head down to Gillis Fieldhouse as class is in session. It's time to learn how to serve a volleyball on this week's Night School.
Hey Army fans, I'm Molly McDonald. I'm on the Army volleyball team here, and today I'm going to teach you how to serve. It's important to have a shoulder width stance, your left foot in front of your right foot, and have your shoulders slightly canted. It's important to have a consistent toss and a high elbow as you swing. It should be like so. As you go to serve, you make sure you strike and have a consistent, solid contact with the ball to get you a good flow and a good solid serve. Make sure you have a solid contact on the ball and a stiff hand and a solid contact every time you serve.
With some warm weather left in summer, there may still be time to try that one out on the sand. Now it's time for this week's Cadet Spotlight. Junior Winston Bolt is the starting goaltender for the Army men's soccer team, a job he took over with 5 games remaining in his freshman season and has not relinquished. Rich DeMarco sits down with Winston Bolt in this week's Cadet Spotlight.
Rich DeMarco in the Cadet Spotlight with Army Cal men's soccer goaltender Winston Bolt. Winston, thanks again for joining us here as part of Black Knights Weekly and your 3rd year here at West Point and a big one for you at the Academy.
Yeah, it's an exciting year. We just made our commitment. So our whole class is pretty excited about the next few years. We get to really dive into our majors and classes that we really like, stuff like that. So finally got the routine down. It's going to be a good few years.
Growing as a cadet, also as a soccer player here at the Academy. A good season 1 year ago, starting all 17 games, 3 shutouts, including one over Service Academy rival Air Force. Tell me about the experience, the success you had in 2012, how you're looking to translate that, jump off that here in 13.
It was nice to get a full year under my belt, full year of the college experience and Division I soccer and things like that. That definitely helps, and kind of how we're going to transition from last year to this year. We've got another young team. We've got a lot of new pieces that we're trying to implement in terms of players, and a lot of freshmen looking to make contributions too. So it's going to be an exciting year.
You mentioned the young players and your head coach, Russell Payne, really building this Army soccer program. Tell me about his vision and the players' buy into it and how now it's growing here as the years have gone on under his tenure.
So over the last few years, there's been a big shift in the culture of the group. You know, a focus on the process, not necessarily on the outcomes, but you know, a focus on the little moments and small victories add up. And I think that the culture of the team has really changed, and it's really made. He's really made a positive impact on the program. I think the guys are all really excited because the soccer skill is there, the intensity level is there during practice and things like that, and I think that the results will come. So,
Winston, West Point, a big part of your family. Your cousin, Chris Bolt, was a punter on the Army football team. You're a native of St. Louis. Tell me about your decision to come to the Academy and maybe any influence Chris might have had with you coming here to West Point.
Chris got recruited late on the football team, and that was right when I started looking into the school, so I thought that was pretty cool that the two of us were going to be here together after not going to the same high school in St. Louis even. So it was pretty exciting. It's always nice to have my uncle and my aunt up here last year and watching football games and stuff like that. It's kind of cool that it's a nice little family experience, so we're getting our own little piece of that here. It's good.
Well, Winston, we appreciate a couple of minutes here in the Cadet Spotlight. Best of luck for you and the Army men's soccer team here in 2013.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Men's soccer opens their season tomorrow at noon against VMI at Clinton Field. Lastly, today we hand the microphone off to the volleyball team for 15 seconds with Army Athletics.
Hey Army fans, I'm Molly McDonald.
I'm Nicole Perry.
And I'm Vanessa Edwards.
And we're Army Volleyball. Our first game of the season is this Saturday here at Gillis Fieldhouse at 7 o'clock. We're playing Alabama. That's going to be a great game, and tune in on Night Vision. Again, that's 7 o'clock here at Gillis Fieldhouse. Be here.
Go Army Volleyball!
Volleyball with 3 games this weekend. They'll take on Seton Hall, Alabama, and Washington State, all down at Gillis Fieldhouse. For the complete schedule and game times, visit GoArmySports.com. Tickets are still available for the season-opening football game. Friday night, the Black Knights will take on the Bears of Morgan State at 7 o'clock at Michie Stadium. To purchase tickets, call 877-TIX-ARMY or visit ArmyGameDay.com. Thanks so much for joining us for this week's edition of Black Knights Weekly. Until next time, for Night Vision, I'm Nick DeSanctis. Go Army!